Okay, T.I., check this out, right? I'm getting ready to break down to you what this gang stalking thing is really all about and how they're justifying all of this harassment and stalking, and the reason why it seems like it takes place everywhere you go in society. It seems like all of these people are involved. I'm getting ready to break it down for you right here in this video. And it'll be smart if you are really being targeted like this for you to watch the entire video. Listen closely, because you definitely will learn something. It's going to be a 5-part video. I'm going to split them all up, and I'm going to go into detail and give you a true understanding of what this gang stalking thing is really all about. All right, so I'm going to start off here. First of all, I'm on this website, CISA. This gives you an overview, an understanding of the critical infrastructure sectors here in the United States. Now, why is that important? The critical infrastructure pretty much are industries and sectors in our society that if they were, attacked in some kind of way and damaged, it will disrupt the country. It will disrupt business, finances. It will disrupt everyday life. So therefore, they're considered critical infrastructure sectors. That's where you get the name InfraGard. Okay, that's where InfraGard is responsible in conjunction with the FBI. They are responsible for protecting the critical infrastructure. So that's where you get InfraGard. They're guarding the infrastructure. Now, InfraGard works with the FBI with all of the companies that are under these sectors that I'm going to go over with you in this video. Okay. So there are 16 sectors here listed that are considered critical infrastructure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over about 4 or 5 of these sectors. I'm going to highlight them, and I'm going to break them down, and I'm going to explain to you how they're being weaponized to target us on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to discuss what industries and what parts of what industries and what sectors we come in contact with every single day that they're able to use to target us, and this right here gives them plausible deniability to say that they're doing these things, and they have us on these lists to protect us, to protect infrastructure from us. So whenever we interact with these different industries and these different sectors of society, whenever we are anywhere near these different places, it activates, because our location is being tracked. So whenever we come into contact with any of these industries, they have the legal right, with the laws they have written in, they have the legal right to go through these different processes that we go through. And what it translates to for us as targeted individuals is gang stalking, with the harassment, sabotage, agitation, all the different things that we go through. It comes from this. It comes from InfraGard and the FBI and Homeland Security working together with private companies and EMS and different things like that around the community to target us. And when it's really supposed to be about terrorism and protecting this critical infrastructure from terrorism. So all they have to do is call us a homeland, a domestic terrorist who is a threat to the homeland, and now it's on. All right, so I'm going to read these 16 sectors to you, and then I'm going to highlight about 5 of them to show you how it affects us from day to day. Okay, so first we have the chemical sector. The Department of Homeland Security is designated as the sector risk management agency for the chemical sector. Secondly, we have the commercial facility sector, and this is one of the ones that I'm actually going to highlight in this presentation. The Department of Homeland Security is designated as the sector risk management agency for the commercial facility sector, which includes a diverse range of sites that draw large crowds of people for shopping, entertainment, lodging, or business. Third, we have the communication sector. All right. We also have critical manufacturing sector. dam sector, defense industry base sector, energy services sector. Yeah, so the energy sector pretty much, deals with your what do you call it? Your electricity bill, your power bill, those companies. And I've heard things about the smart meters they use pertaining to Gangstalking. You can look into that yourself. Next up will be the financial services sector. That's another, that's dealing with the banks, your money. Um, they monitor all of that. For instance, if you put a certain amount of money in the bank, they alert the FBI. So just imagine if you're a targeted individual, how much alerting and monitoring is going on with your banking. But I'm not going to go into depth in all of these. Like I said, I'm going to highlight uh, about 4 or 5 of them in the presentation, though. But next up, you have government facilities. So any government building you go into, you already know. Just like I said, with the bank, all of those employees are connected. They all get the alerts when you come. Same thing with government buildings. Any of these buildings you go in, all the way from the janitor all the way up to the highest government service employee in that building, they all are connected to this program and will absolutely participate in your gang stalking if you come around them. Okay? Next, you have healthcare and the public health sector, which is crazy with all these doctors and these nurses that you run into in the parking lot at Target, or you running into the Dollar Tree real quick, and you just running around picking up some food from Chipotle. All of these people are around you, and they're getting the alerts, and they're doing these different tactics that you have been sensitized to over and over and over again as you go throughout your day. Next up, you have information technology sector. So you know what that's all about, the information technology sector. You can look deeper into that if you need to. Nuclear reactors, materials, and waste sector. So look into that if you need. If it's pretty self-explanatory what that's all about. You also have the transportation system. That's another one that I'm going to go into depth about, because a lot of people ride the metro, the subway system. And one thing that's really stands out with this section is rideshare is added on to this. So people who claim to be dealing with issues pertaining to gang stalking with Uber and Lyft, you're not delusional. And I'm going to break it down. Also, last but not least, we have the water and wastewater system section. So you can look deeper into that if you are interested. All right. So next, I'm going to go into detail with a few of these to give you guys an understanding of why you're feeling you're targeting in this gang stalking situation everywhere you go at all times. Peace. Okay, so the first sector that I'm going to focus on is called commercial facilities sector. All right. Now, most of these commercial facilities are within the private sector. And when I say private sector, I mean like private businesses. We're talking Taco Bell, McDonald's, Sprint, Walmart, Ford Motor Company, Mercedes-Benz, if they operate in the United States, Starbucks, different, things of that nature. Motel 6, the Marriott. All right, so this is the commercial facilities sector. This is one of the critical infrastructure sectors that this program that we're being targeted by, they're supposedly trying to protect this sector of society from us, targeted individuals. And weirdly, they use harassment tactics to do so. So now, within the commercial facility sector, you have hotels and motels. Now, many people who are targeted individuals have described when you go to hotels, motels, you're harassed. Immediately, people move into the rooms around you, and they start to perform the harassment tactics that are protocol within your personal portfolio of harassment. Myself personally, my gang stalking program is centered around numbers. Okay, So there's I have a core set of 5 numbers that they use whenever those numbers are on a clock, or they put these numbers on license plate tags, on jerseys, on people when they walk around with these numbers in front of me. All of these type of situations. Okay. So what I noticed was when I would go to hotels and motels, I would get the room number would always have one of these numbers involved. So let's say, for instance, the number 27, which is one of the which is pretty much the most prominent number in my program. This is how it all started, was a number 27. So anytime I go to a hotel or a motel, my hotel room will be number 327, or I'll be right next door to a hotel room with the number 27 in it. If that gives you any understanding, it makes it a little more clear. It's just they have to have that number in my line of sight, in my conscience, in my psyche, all right, at all times. So once you show up to these locations and you give them your ID, you give them your name, they have a protocol on what they need to do to you. Now, I don't even think they even need our ID to start, because I'll explain later how I've shown in my videos when I go to different drive-throughs, restaurants, where either I'm doing deliveries or if I'm picking up something for myself. Even when I go inside, not even just a drive-through, they will always serve me when one of these numbers are on the clock. You understand? So pretty much, if I'm in line, they'll coordinate the lines. It's so strange, people, how they do this, but I've shown video. You can see for yourself on my page, but they'll coordinate the line and have me at the window when one of the numbers in my program are on the clock. So it's the same thing. So they don't necessarily need my ID when I go to the hotels and motels. They're alerted probably when I'm within a certain amount of feet of the hotel that it's possible I'm going to come there and get a room, and here's what needs to be done. All right. And as a side note, as I'm doing this right now, I'm being gang stalked at this very moment. But I'm not even going to get into that. All right. So hotels and motels. Yes. Once you get to these hotels and motels, there's an alert that goes out, and yes, they will fill up rooms and all around you with perps, and they will do bang on the wall, do noise campaigns. You'll probably be put, like they do with me. They always put me in a room right next to a camera. I'm pretty sure that's protocol, so they can see who's coming in and out of my hotel rooms. When I leave, when I'm in the room, when I leave out, these are just certain things that they do within the hotels and motels section of this commercial facility sector. So yeah, like I said, they always put me near the cameras, or put me somewhere where it's a highly visible room so everyone can watch what's going on easily, and they'll surround me with perps. All right. So next up on this list that I want to highlight is theme parks and amusement parks. All right. So if you go to Disneyland, or depending on where you are in the country, Six Flags, Busch Gardens, all of these theme parks, Disney World, Great Adventures, wherever you are in the country, I don't know where you are listening from, but I think you get the idea. Again, when you get to these locations, all of the employees, the security of the park, whatever police officers are there, everyone knows that you are there and you are to be targeted based upon whatever protocol is written out in the instructions on what to do. So you'll experience the same type of gang stalking experiences at any amusement park or theme park that you visit. Even has parades here. If you go to a parade, you'll be uh, singled out, by security officers. You'll get extra attention. And with me, if your situation is like me, they'll have certain things that they do to harass you, to get your attention, to whatever the harassment aspect is supposed to be. I just don't understand still how harassing us and trying to rile us up is protected in infrastructure. I mean, I assume it's just so our consciousness will be on the fact that we're being watched and they're on us at all times, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense the way that they're going about this, if that's what their concern is. All right, but I'm going to go to the next one. Arenas, stadiums, zoos, museums. So if you go to the local, you go to a basketball game, right? So you go see a college game. You want to go see Duke play. You live in North Carolina. You want to go see Duke. Or maybe you live in Chicago. You want to go see the Bulls. Or or a stadium, right? You want to go to an NFL game and watch the Kansas City Chiefs play. Maybe you live down in Dallas. You want to go watch the Dallas Cowboys play a game. Any of these arenas that you visit, even if it's a college arena, you want to go see Oklahoma or Miami or who's good in these days, Alabama, and you're a targeted individual, but you're a fan of the team, and you spent all your money, you saved up or whatever you did, you got the money, you want to go support the team, you got the jersey on, you're excited, you just want to go have fun like everyone else, and you got your little styrofoam hand with the big one putting up, you understand what I mean. You have ready to have a good time, but that's going to be short-lived because you're going to know if you're a target individual and you know about your targeting and you know the patterns, they're going to perp you. More than likely, someone who's sitting near you, they're going to be sitting or within your line of sight. They're going to be doing the different things that are associated in your program, which we call triggers. They're going to be around trying to trigger you. You're going to deal with security probably giving you extra attention. A police officer might decide to post up near you and just stand there the whole game around where you are and every so often glance over at you while his hand is probably on his service weapon. You understand? As you buy your ticket, especially if you buy it online, but it probably doesn't even matter, even if you go buy it in person. But most of us would do it online this day and age. Your ticket, they're gonna know where you're sitting, so they're gonna have everything already in place for you from the moment you arrive. Okay, it's gonna be on. So that takes away your enjoyment of that. Just like your theme park and your amusement park, you might want to take your kids and all. They take away the enjoyment of that with this. Okay. And the sad part about this, a lot of us, like myself, do not belong on this list. There's no way in hell, no way at all that we should be being dealt with like this. And they just want to take the air out of our lives, and it's just horrible what they're doing, and something has to change. Okay, so I'm gonna go. It says zoos and museums. You want to take your kids to the zoo. You want to take your kids to the museum and have a different experience. You want to get them cultured and go to a museum and so that have some educational stuff. You want to have them have a good time at the zoo to see the animals. Maybe you even want to be a chaperone at your kids' elementary school, and you want to go with ride on a school bus with them to the zoo, to the museum, and you're trying to volunteer, being a good parent, being a good citizen. You're gonna be perked. Because they're all connected to this program within the commercial facility sector, okay, within the critical infrastructure. So therefore, all of the employees, all of the security officers, and other people who are just visiting the museum, zoo, the arena, the stadium, whatever job they have, nurses, maybe a doctor, garbage man, bus driver, you'll see down this list. Everybody is involved with this thing. So they're all going to be in that space doing the different tactics to try to trigger you into lashing out pretty much. They're going to do the same exact tactics that you experience as you just go through your day-to-day life as a targeted individual. It's going to be no break. They don't care if your children are there. They don't care if you're there at the game, spent the hundreds of dollars for some tickets and buying all the expensive beers, and you're just trying to have fun like everyone else. They're going to be there to ruin that experience for you. And it's not just the people who work in the arena or just the security there. Like I said, it's going to be the other citizens that are also in that same space as you, because more than likely they're working in one of these sectors and one of these industries that are connected through this InfoGuard, FBI situation where they're supposed to be protecting the infrastructure, but protecting it from you, and by doing that, they're just harassing you. So that's their method. All right, apartment and or condominium buildings. So you live in an apartment building, you're going to be harassed. You live in a condominium building. You're going to be targeted by other people in the building, of course, because of their job. They're probably connected, or they've been approached by law enforcement or someone representing the InfoGuard FBI program, and telling them that, hey, you're some threat to society, and you need and in order for the national safe security of the country, they're going to tell that person, we need you to do this, that, or the third. And in my personal case, what I've experienced, and this has happened in my personal apartment here in South Florida, the last apartment that I had, they moved in a lot of, actually at the time, they moved in a lot of Haitian immigrants in every apartment around me, and they proceeded to gang stalk and do all the different tactics. That's when I first started noticing things. Also, with apartments and condominium buildings and with the hotels and all of that, same thing. I traveled abroad. I went out to South America, and the first one that I arrived at, they got it going. I was there not even an hour, and they started slamming the doors whenever the numbers in my program are on the clock, in and out, slamming doors, making all kind of extra noise, just doing all of the tactics to harass me, similar to what they do here in the United States. And then that proceeded to happen at every single hotel. And that first place where they did that, I left. And luckily, Airbnb is good about that kind of thing. I got fully refunded. I got a nice credit and everything. It worked out financially, but it happened at every location. And then every other location I went to from then on, while I was in the country for about 2 months, they would have someone with a hammer just happen to need to bang for all hours during the day. Like 8 hours, 8-hour work day, they paid someone to bang a hammer. And they had plausible deniability because it's maintenance. Oh, we just happen to be working on whatever. Just banging. Every hotel that I was going to, or Airbnb, they started doing that during my trip overseas in spring 2021. All right. Now, also self-storage. So I currently have a storage unit. So I have a personal experience with that. My personal storage unit that I have, once I first got there, it was okay. It was cool. It was a brand new facility. Wasn't a lot of people there. All of a sudden, it turned into the most crowded storage unit that you're going to find. I mean, every time I go there, morning, noon, and night, it's filled up with people. It's hard to find somewhere to park. It's people coming in and out, moving all kinds of junk out. I mean, it's just all kinds of and then they're also performing all of the tactics, pulling up or pulling off at the times associated in my program. The woman who works there, the main employee, she participates whenever I come. She just appears to be picking up, just out of nowhere. She has to pick up trash or do something around me when one of the numbers in my program are on the clock. So if I get there at 1:25, you better believe once that 27 gets on the clock, 1:27, she's going to appear. And she's going to start doing all of the gang stalking tactics that they told her to do, because the company that she works for is also considered a commercial facility sector, which is a critical infrastructure. So therefore, the FBI works with this company to not just gang stalk now. Don't get it twisted. The program is supposed to be, they got different things they implement to protect it from, attacks or whatever. But part of that is us, the humans who they consider a threat. So therefore we need to be harassed and gang stalked and watched and surveilled, and just, that's how they do it, people. Next up on this list, it's the last one I'm going to highlight under commercial facilities sector. It's retail stores. All right. So when you go to Walmart, all of those employees, all of the like, even the guys getting the carts in the parking lot, I've experienced that. One of the times in my program on the clock, they just happen to be in front of me with the whole row of carts, blocking me in, or slamming the carts into each other, or they just happen to be in my line of sight, happen to be walking past me or be around me. All right, security just happens to be slow rolling, which I have video of on my YouTube page. Probably my Instagram as well. Security just happens to appear slow rolling around me at one of these times. All right, this is if you go to Walmart. Then not only that, not only the security and all the employees. This is a big public space, so now you also have customers, and many of these customers work in one of the 16 critical infrastructure industries listed within this program. So think about that. You have 16 industries, and then you have all of these different businesses and things of that nature, and businesses and places of employment within that 16 critical infrastructure list. So that's millions of people, man, and they all are connected to the program. So this is literally, causing you to be an enemy of the state. They're making all of these people your enemy. They don't know you, but somebody higher up said that you are a threat that needs to be neutralized, and their way of neutralizing you are using these harassment tactics. They have a certain protocol. They use these tactics to harass you and make your life difficult, make your life frustrating, trying to piss you off, trying to irritate you. That's pretty much what they do. That's what it's all about. So yeah, retail stores, also shopping malls. So we all know. I have videos on my phone. I've encountered security guards and even confronted them, and asked them about it. The funny thing about it is I'm doing this video. I just spoke to one tonight. He acted like he had no idea what I was talking about, no clue, just, not at all. But right after we spoke, he continued to do the same exact tactics, riding past me only at the times that I have recorded in my program that I've shown many, many times about what happens when these times are on the clock. Right after we had the discussion, we talked for almost 5 to 10 minutes. He just denied everything. He had no clue what I was talking about, but then he dove right back into it after our discussion like we didn't just talk. So this is what we're dealing with, just a fucking liar, right to my face like it's nothing. So that right there is a list I want to give. Those are some examples within the commercial facilities sector of the 16 critical infrastructure lists that the United States feels needs to be protected at all costs. And part of that protection is targeting people who are on this list, which we call gangstalking. And that's why we feel it everywhere we go. Recap real quick. Hotels, motels, theme parks, amusement parks, parades, arenas, stadiums, zoos, museums, apartments, condos, storage units, retail stores such as Walmart, Target, Ross, wherever you go, any store you're going into, shopping malls, mall security, all the employees, and then you always remember with this one right here, with the commercial facility sector, it has other people. It's commercial, so there's going to be other people there patronizing that business. So those people more than likely are connected to one of these sectors themselves, from wherever they work. So they also are going to participate. So that's why you get that all-encompassing feeling that everybody is, everybody's involved in your gang stalking. But really, yeah, it is. That's the case. It's really true. You've been made an enemy of the state, and all of these people using today's technology, which wouldn't be possible without it, today's technology and these phones, they are alerted about you and what to do when they are in your presence. All right, so that's the first one, and we'll get